Dylann Roof has been found competent to stand trial for the murders of 9 people of God here at Mother Emanuel AME Church last summer. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with the church's historian, Liz Alston. Liz.
Yes.
It's so good to see you again.
I tell you, this is becoming a habit that I can get used to.
Yes, ma'am. It's a habit that I love.
Yes, how about it? How have you been?
Oh, great. Yourself?
Great. Now that the news that we've heard about the trial for the Emanuel 9, that's good news.
In fact, as you know, Dylann Roof has been found competent to stand trial. Where are you emotionally still?
Well, I figured that if that were to be the rule, then half the prisons would have to be emptied so that those persons who have been convicted could stand to have mentally competent. So, as a former teacher of the Constitution, I realized that everyone has the right to a fair and speedy trial with witnesses. I'm familiar with the First Amendment, the Second, and certainly the Sixth Amendment, but if a person has been a year and a half imprisoned and all of a sudden the red flags are raised about whether or not he is competent to stand trial. If you kill 9 people, you should be tried. Let the appeal process work. So it would have been devastating to me as a member and an official of Emanuel and the 9 people who would have to wait while he languish, exist, live at taxpayers' expense in a prison until he is mentally competent. That stretches my imagination, and I'm a logical person. I'm a constitutionalist. So I beg to differ.
Yeah. Let me turn to Monday. As you know, the jury will be selected in. A lot of people talked about how the Michael Slager trial, as far as the jury, wasn't diverse. What do you hope to see with the jury pool with this particular case with Dylann Roof?
I would like for the Constitution to be held a person of their peers, and in a diverse community, diversity doesn't mean 11 absent blacks and 1 white. So for a jury and the prosecution, and I followed it very carefully, did not object to having an all-white jury. I've just been reading newspapers from around the country who are just for that kind of decision. I would certainly like for the trial for the killer of the Emanuel 9 to represent the community from which it comes. So which means that I am not too aware of the jury selection system. I understand that it's done computerized, and so I think that the jury selection process, like the Electoral College, is open for review, because in the past it has not been fair. Justice has been blind, in my opinion.
Let me turn to, I guess it was Tuesday, when you guys had a day of prayer at Mother Emanuel.
Yes.
I saw you, but you didn't see me.
I was there.
I was sitting way in the back, and I was actually trying to get an interview with Governor Haley, but that didn't work out. But when you look back to the day of prayer right now, Liz, what still sticks out to you?
Well, the fact is that you had the governor of the state of South Carolina coming to Mother Emanuel for a day of prayer as a person with Christian values and a Christian background. Nothing beats prayer. I was touched spirituality by the prayer. And one of the things I liked about the prayer, and I've mentioned it to a number of people, is that they chose my favorite psalm, the 37th Psalm.
Really?
And each of the ministers there use different versions.
Sure.
They talk about injustice and that your enemies, for lack of a better word, will wither on the grass. And so I'm saying how appropriate that the Bible and those of us who have faith, and that's all sustains us, the faith that we have. And like I have always said, I said it in every interview, that the purpose of religion is to answer life mysteries.
That's right.
So when all else fails, when people talk about the election, I was just reading articles by Thurgood Marshall, who talked about things, President Obama, Benjamin Hooks, many of those people who would say that as a group of people, we have faith, and it has sustained us. I remember talking about all of the incidents when my mother, before I was born, talked about the election of Hoover at the Great Depression. Everybody thought the world was coming to an end. 1968, when Nixon was elected, many of the blacks felt that the world would fall apart. When Reagan was elected in 1984. So I'm saying this too shall pass. Regardless of who our leaders are, the sun will rise in the morning and the sun will set. So the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, I'm rereading that, and nothing is new under the sun. These things will come to pass. We are a great nation. We have always been a great nation. And I think that America will sustain itself, its faith, regardless of who is at the helm, because the Constitution says that a man can only survive or serve for 8 years. So I figure that if this is year 2016, 8 years from now, we will sail on as we have in the past.
And let me stay on Governor Nikki Haley, because as you know, she's been handpicked by President-elect Donald Trump to become the United States ambassador to the UN. What does that tell you?
Well, I'm thinking from UTHANT and many of the people, a lot of people don't even know who the UN ambassador is. And like I said, that only God has all the power. And the United States certainly is the leader of the free world. And the UN ambassador is just one position out of many. I certainly wish Nikki Haley well, but I feel that the NATO and all of these other agencies is that the United States, even though it's one of the great powers, for that, it's an important position, but it's not, in my opinion, the most important position in the world. I think only God has that position.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to be looking for a new governor the next 4 years. Are you running?
Oh, of course not. but I feel that those persons who are running, and I have kept articles and the same things that they have been saying about leaders of the past, they will now have these same things said about them. So I hope that they will remember that you reap what you sow. So those persons who have thrown spitballs at the leaders now, it would be their chance to duck the snowballs. Good luck to them.
Liz Alston, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
It has been my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.